Anthony Hartwig here with a LaBrae boys basketball coaches corner and season preview. Chad Kiser, the head coach of the boys program down there in LaBrae, joining us. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about your team. Obviously, you've had them for a couple of weeks now, and you've had practices and hopefully a couple of scrimmages. What are you seeing so far out of your roster and out of your team that makes you optimistic about this year?
Well, first of all, we got four returning starters, so that really helps. It lets us get things in a little bit quicker. We're not just installing all new stuff here. Last year, we had a lot of first-time varsity players. So being able to have four guys that return off a team that won a championship last year, we split three ways in our conference. It helped things move along. We don't have many numbers right now, so it's kind of stopping us from being really competitive against each other in practice, just our numbers alone. But, as far as returning lettermen, I feel really, really good about that right now.
Yeah, for returning starters, and let's go over those names. And for people that maybe are new to the program or new to watching this series of YSN, go over your roster and the names that you have, and the people that are going to be big names for LaBrae.
Jay McGarry is our senior point guard. It's been a 3-year varsity. It'll be his third year as a varsity starter, really, for us. Kind of our leader right now. Junior Derek Wilson transferred in last year from Lordstown. Has really done a lot in the off season to improve his game, and I think people are going to really see a big difference in him this year, especially now that we can have him for a full season. Shooting guard Austin Rowe, it's a sophomore, was a really good shooter for us last year from the outside, and really surprised a lot of people, I think, at how well he could play at that varsity level last year as a freshman. And then our fourth returning starter is Jackson Lancaster, another sophomore. He snuck in the lineup last year as a freshman, just a kid who does everything you ask him to and does everything the right way. And kind of snuck into that lineup as a freshman last year. We weren't expecting him to really move in as a starter and play full time as he did. And he was a great surprise. And he's not gonna sneak up on people this year. It's gonna just our glue that holds us together. We lost a really good big man last year, Blake Cannell, probably the best center in the area. He's off playing at Bethany this year. So we got to replace him with kind of by committee right now. We're trying to find that fifth starter. We got some good options right now. Senior David Blackman will be a first-year varsity player. Really athletic, fast, big guy. Lucas Glazer and Dan McLaughlin are two sophomores that are also going to battle for some time in that center position. So we're looking forward to those. And then we have a really good guard coming off the bench in Owen Boone right now who, there may be some games, and if our bigs don't come in there, he may be in the starting lineup and go really just some four-guard sets. So we got a nice little core there that I'm really excited about.
Coach, I like that you said that the sophomores that you have that had such a good freshman season aren't going to sneak up on people, because that's my next question. Those two, last year when you're a freshman, there's no tape on you. You come out and you're so good, and some people may be surprised by, how good they were. I mean, people on the other end of the bench, of course. Now there's tape. There's no surprise, like you said. They're not sneaking up on people. How are they going to take that next step and adjust to maybe teams' adjustments to them?
Well, we'll have to see, really. I think as a team, we got to adjust. We had our offense centered around Blake Cannell last year and our inside play, so that really opened up the outside. So I think teams now are really going to have to be out on Austin and our other shooters. Really making us put the ball on the floor. If I was coaching us, that's really what I would do. I don't want to give away any secrets to other teams, but so for them, they got to adapt and for Austin, he's going to have to adapt and be able to put that game of being able to get to the basket, shot fake and get to the basket, pull up jump shots. He can't just be a set shooter on the 3-point line. But teams know, you got to guard him from 25 feet out. He'll shoot it from anywhere. He's got no conscience, which is a good thing for us. He'll let it rip, and he'll knock him down. In the postseason, he won 2 of the county-wide 3-point contests as a freshman last year. He can shoot it. He can shoot it quick. But he's got to get that other part of his game, and he has. He's worked on that in the offseason. He's looked pretty good doing that right now. And Jackson really, like I said, is our glue guy. So for him, it's just keep doing what he's doing. Setting screens, rebounding, running the floor. Um, there's only one basketball. We got a lot of scorers. We got three really, really good scorers, I think. Three of the better ones that we've had in my time here that can get their own shot off and score. So some of the guys have just got to be those guys who do the little things. And the little things like we talk about every day are what make a difference.
Let's talk about the schedule that you play. We'll start with that conference that you were winners of last year. Like you said, a three-way tie, which tells you how good that MVAC was last year on the gray side. What do you see out of it this year? What are you looking at?
I think just a lot of the same. Brookfield lost a little, two good players. I shouldn't say a little. They lost a lot and two good players, but they got a really good point guard still there that's going to lead them. Campbell also tied for the league. Beat Newton Falls there at the end, beat us too. They're always just scrappy. Coach does a great job there. And they just play hard. They come after you. They put pressure on you. They always find a way to get to the basket. They're athletic. Shot the ball extremely well against us last year, and those guys are back. So that'll be very competitive. And Newton Falls just always reloads. Coach Simback, Coach Massinetz do a great job there. And they're hungry. I know they feel. I spent all summer with Coach Massinetz on the golf course, so I know they feel like they lost an opportunity last year, and where they were the best team probably, and are the one who were in the running the entire way until the last game. So they're hungry, and you don't want to play them when they're hungry. They're going to come after some people, and they'll be very competitive as well. And Crestview in there, you travel to Crestview. Same thing with our last game. We had to win that in overtime to get a piece of the title. You go to Crestview, it's a tough place to play. Those kids are tough.
When you think about the league and how hard it is, you also have to imagine, well, man, we have to go test ourselves outside of the conference too and get ourselves ready for postseason. What are some teams that pop up outside of that MVAC that make you excited about the year?
Northeast 8, we play quite a few of those Northeast 8 teams that are solid, strong schools. We got Niles. We also have Howland out of the All-American Conference right off the bat there. Those are our first two games, and those are going to be tough ones to start off with. We're loaded towards the end also. We always play a really well-coached Springfield team there towards the end of the season in our non-league. Gerard's in there also. So we added Crestwood this year, who's got a couple of really good athletes there, younger guys that can play. So we'll be tested in the non-league as well. There's no easy game for us, and we've been fortunate enough to have pretty good teams here over the last 10 or 12 years, and we try to tell our kids, and they kind of learned last year that we always got a bullseye on our back. Teams are measuring their season on how well they play against us, and they're always looking for a little bit of revenge from the past few years. So we won't get any easy games. I'll tell you that. There won't be any easy ones, league or non-league.
The target hasn't gone away, right? So we've seen LaBrae be good at boys basketball, like you said, for the last 10 or 12 years. That target never goes away from you guys. How are you able to consistently feed into these kids like, hey, you have to go and take every team for what they're worth, and every team's going to treat us like the biggest game on their schedule?
It's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to do in anything, to bring your best every single day. But that's what we it's what we try to do and try to stress. Coming into practice every day and doing that. I think that's where it starts. That way, you're not worried about games and having to bring it on the games. You got to do it in practice every day. We try to have competitive practices, and that's why I was saying earlier in the interview. With only 14 guys, 9 through 12 this year. It's hard to get some of the drills and some of the competitive things that we do in practice. We're trying to find a new way to do some of those things. So this year, it'll be tough. It'll be, different for sure. But no game's more important than any other game. Those are all the coaching things you try to stress. Obviously, you get to some rivalry games. Those things kind of on their own. You don't even need to tell the kids anything. They know. But we just try to bring it every single day, and we learned our lesson last year a little bit where we didn't do that, and we paid the price.
Coach, we're sitting here talking to you, and we would be remiss if we didn't let you shine a light on your coaching staff. We know you get the interviews and you get the questions asked, but you have great people behind you that are helping you, make this program what it is. I want to give you the time to shine a light on the staff that help you make LaBrae as good as it is.
Yeah, we preach to our kids' family, and it starts from the coaching staff. My longtime two assistant coaches really are my brothers. Brian Kiser is my older brother and my varsity assistant, and Jeff Kiser is my JV coach. Has been since the day I took over as the head coach here. Those guys have been with me, and we all come from the same basketball program that Marty Hill had at Wyndham, and think alike, and it makes it really easy. We all three of us know exactly what the other one is thinking, and have the same approach to basketball. My son Logan Kiser joined as an assistant coach last year. Also, he's our freshman coach. He's an assistant coach this year. Played with the program. And then Kenny Downey's another varsity volunteer assistant that's been with us for a couple of years now. Longtime assistant Chris Drake, also in the program as our eighth grade coach, has really helped the program by building those kids up in the middle school level. Has been here for quite a while with me. Had a couple of years he was off and came back, but he makes a huge difference. And Brian Page is my seventh grade coach. This is his first year with the program. But as you said earlier, I can't do any of this, and our kids can't do it without the help of all of our assistants.
Coach, our last question for you is kind of the theme of our season previews. We've been asking it to every coach we've interviewed so far in this the preseason. It's all about the love of the sport of basketball. We love it because we broadcast it. You obviously love it because you coach it and you've coached it for a while, and your players are putting in the time, so they obviously love it. Talk about your love of the game. Where did it come from, and what are some of your first memories of falling in love with the sport of basketball?
I have my whole life. As I said, I came from Wyndham. I can remember being, kindergarten and going and watching the Bombers in the state, making the state tournament run. And Coach Marty Hill was coaching then. He had 40 plus years. It was a program that I got to go to games every game that they had. Really comes from the love of my dad for basketball. He loves the game and would always take us. My mom, we always went to every game that we could get to. Watched every game. Me and my brothers, every game you could watch on TV. There's one on TV growing up, we were watching it. They didn't have as many channels, so there weren't many games. But every time it was on, we were watching it. And, I got to be a water boy for Coach Hill when I was in fifth and sixth grade, and then got to play for him, obviously. And then he had me coaching there at Wyndham before I came over to LaBrae with Coach Iser, who was another Wyndham guy. So it's just been in my blood, instilled from my parents, always playing it, watching it, coaching it now. Both my kids were basketball players playing AAU and traveling. It's just a family thing for us. And I don't know anybody in my family doesn't love basketball.
You watched a lot of basketball, Coach. We're going to watch a lot of you this season. We wish you the best of luck. We thank you so much for your time, giving us a solid preview of the LaBrae boys, and we can't wait to see you out there. We'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you, Anthony.